Hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Megan. This is going to be a transmission around receiving, which is something that comes up quite a bit when you are learning to open up to your inner divine feminine energy. We all carry this within us, whether we identify as a divine feminine, a feminine energy, or not. And it has nothing to do with gender. So all of us have it's necessary on a spiritual journey to go through a divine feminine initiation, to reclaim the feminine aspects of ourselves. This connects us back to our intuition. This connects us back to a trust, an ability to surrender, an ability to receive self-love. It's kind of like our inner mother protects, nurtures, but protects through a softness, protects through a mothering energy, unconditional love energy. And one of the hardest pieces of the feminine energy, I would say, is this surrender and receiving. And when you look at a manifestation, let's just take manifestation, for example. Many will kind of feel like I've done all the work, I've done everything I'm supposed to do, I've gotten clear on my intention, I've said it, I let it go to the universe, and now I'm just kind of waiting and I can feel it. Like I literally will have clients say, I can feel it, it's like right here, but I can't quite grasp it, or I can't quite touch it. And I myself am familiar with that sensation, that feeling. I felt it myself, especially if you're highly sensitive and attuned, you can kind of tap into the etheric and you can kind of, you're like, wow, it's right there. Like I can feel it. I'm getting signs, I'm getting synchronicities that whatever this thing is that I'm manifesting is close, but yet it's not coming. One of the things you might want to check and evaluate within yourself is, are you open to receiving it? Now that sounds kind of woo-woo and, what does that mean? What does it mean? Well, we are only able to receive and open to things that we're a vibrational match of and things that we feel worthy of. Now, we could say we're worthy all day long in the conscious mind, but if there is a block or a limiting belief, something in the subconscious that's telling us that we can't receive this, then we do block it. And it can be very connected to receiving. This is really uncomfortable. I mean, you watch people try and receive compliments, and nobody really knows how to receive a compliment authentically, because I find that it's the same expression, even somebody who is receiving, but they're like, thank you, I know. It's false, right? It's almost the opposite end of the polarity, but it's the same vibrational frequency as somebody who is like, oh no, this old thing, right? It's the same. It's the same energy. They just express themselves differently, if that makes sense. So somebody that kind of overcompensates and appears a little bit into themselves, appears like they have no problem receiving, but they're actually not. They're still not receiving in the sort of tantric way of receiving, which is presence, right? Which is divine presence. It's stillness. It's holding somebody's gaze. It's somebody gives you something, somebody says something to you and you let yourself feel it. So this is very connected to transmutation, to healing, to feeling your emotions instead of rejecting, instead of locking them into a box somewhere in your body. These are all like very deep feminine principles that many of us have been taught are wrong and we've rejected. Okay, so this is a deep wound, a deep healing that many of us have that we have to reclaim. I'm not going into the divine masculine initiation here or the things that are important when you're reclaiming the inner father or the masculine energy within you, but that's just as important. I just want to reiterate and I want to let people know that is just as important, but the feminine has to come first. You have to nurture, you have to reclaim, you have to come back home to your intuition, your connection to source, to the divine, before you can work on the masculine within. We usually get it the opposite. We get it wrong. So receiving, we have to be still in order to receive, right? And I'm using very literal examples here just to kind of give us the image in our head. But if you're rushing around, moving from one thing to the other, and someone's like, oh, I really like your hair, and you're just walking and you're like, oh, thanks. But you don't even register. You don't even take the moment to be like, thank you. Wow. Oh my gosh, thank you. And like feel it in your body, and whatever genuine response comes up, you may find in that moment that the genuine response is like, you do. And then you have this whole new awareness. You bring that subconscious hidden belief down there that was maybe you being like, oh, I don't like my hair, or I'm feeling actually insecure about my hair. And now somebody's saying they like it. And now I'm being confronted with my own sort of issues or feelings about my hair that I never even examined before. But you can't have that alchemical sort of process. You can't have that beautiful, honest, authentic exchange with somebody if you're too busy, if you're not available, if you have a lot of noise, if the brain is really busy, if the mind is really running you running ruckus, I don't know, running all over you, right? So if you are opening up to a manifestation and it's not here yet, but you can feel it, one of the things you might want to look at is what can I do to slow down? And that could be very literally clearing out your schedule, but it could also be clearing out energy. This could mean that you need to kind of clean out your closets, metaphorically, but also literally, clearing space, cleaning up, purifying your vessel, your home, your environment, your friendships, your bank account, whatever it is, that you need to make space. And a lot of us have a very hard time letting go of things when we're feeling attachment to not having this manifestation yet. We feel this scarcity, and that actually blocks the manifestation. So the very thing that we want, that we're calling in, can't come to us because we have old manifestations that are no longer a vibrational match that we're afraid to let go of. So it's really important to kind of look at, am I too busy? Am I running a ruckus? Whatever the hell that means. Thanks, guys. Am I running a ruckus? Or am I in this space where I just have too much old energy? And that could show up in a physical, manifested material way. It absolutely can, but it can also be like things within your mind. And then you want to start slowing down in the simplest ways. How can I receive, right? So if it's people that you live with, friends, family, partners, at work, right? There's always an opportunity to receive, even if it's just a gaze from a stranger. Do you immediately look away? Do you immediately avert your eyes? Or do you allow yourself to sit in that moment and connect with another human? When somebody smiles at you, do you just politely smile back, like, and like, or do you like take that in and give? And that's all Tantra, by the way. It's that deep inner presence. And the gift of that, the gift that we can give others, and the gift of receiving that. But the whole beautiful practice of that is, in order to give, you have to receive, and vice versa. You can't do one without the other. The yin, the yang, they go hand in hand. So back to this sort of manifestation block, perhaps. Look at your ability to receive. Look at this balance, this yin and yang I'm brought back to, this balance between doing and being, doing and receiving, doing and allowing. And if you are if you're exploring and examining a feminine archetype and your own inner feminine, the doing is going to get really slow. Otherwise, you're not doing it right. And I've actually had people really reject this teaching before and get very triggered by it because they want to be a productive person in society, and all of the programming that they've been taught, that it's very hard for them to slow down. And if they're slowing down, then maybe they're depressed or there's something wrong with them. And it's like, no, this is your inner feminine. Your inner feminine doesn't have to do anything to receive validation or acceptance or the gift. It's reminding yourself, remembering that you don't have to do anything to receive. You are worthy in who you are just by being here. You are worthy. You are enough, right? It's that teaching that so many of us struggle with. And so many of us seek validation through doing, achieving, right? So slowing down, really slowing down. And you'll notice that when you're working with the divine, if you work with guides, if you work with a team, they will, when you're getting ready for a manifestation to come in, there's this space that a lot of people call like the dark or the void, and everything goes quiet, everything goes black. It actually seems like everything stops in your life, like nothing, and the ego comes in at that point and gets really loud and is like, you're doing things wrong. You have to fix, you have to redirect. Something's going poorly here. There's a mistake being made. And that will cause a lot of us to go back into overarching, overextending, producing, creating, and then the manifestation can't come. It just can't, because we get on this wheel again. And it's actually through that process, when it gets really dark, when it gets really still, when everything in your life slows down, that's actually the magic. That is the magic. And that's where you work with yourself, you work with your emotions, you work with your inner feminine in preparing your body, preparing your vessel, preparing your heart, your mind to receive, and trusting and surrendering in that stillness. And you have to have this trust of yourself, and you have to have this trust of the divine, that you're being held, that nothing's going wrong, that it's going to be okay. The signs, the synchronicities, all the things you're getting, you can trust, you can believe, you can know that it is coming. There is something coming, even if you don't see it yet. And this is a great faith test. This is, the stronger we get in this muscle, the less this process is super visceral to us. Like, it's almost like this process will come and go and you won't even notice it, because the manifestation will just be there. So I do see this process quickens. But if you're really, attached, and there's something that is really challenging for you to receive, to let go of, to, if you're in a difficult transition, then this is going to be a tough lesson, but it's only going to strengthen you and build your resilience so that you're able to do this. So in that magic, in that moment of stillness and darkness, it's just allowing and noticing what you can. And is there anything, any beauty, any gift, any magic you can receive in that moment, and really feeling it in your body, really allowing it to sink in. That is going to help a lot in your manifestation. And I know on this channel, I've talked about how, the whole business of manifesting has gotten really distorted. So I refrain from using that word, but that is what we're talking about here. And those of you who come here for your twin flame journey, divine feminines, we are in a beautiful sacred place of receiving the gifts, receiving the reciprocity, receiving all the work that we've done, and the things, the beauty, and the seeds that we've planted, that we put into the world, watching them bloom. And now many of you are getting a little squirmish and a little bit uncomfortable, because it's time to receive. And now you're being confronted. Oh my God, do I know how to do that? Can I do that? So that's why this video wanted to come through today. But I want to reiterate, this is for anyone and everyone. This is people in male bodies. This is people that identify as being the divine masculine. This is anybody, because we all have to be equal within our bodies, within our realm. That is what divine means. It's a wholeness of masculine and feminine energy. So we all have to get better at this. The masculine collective in general sucks at receiving. But that's not what we're talking about today. So allowing, surrendering. Things get quiet, things get dark. It's not bad. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad sign. It doesn't mean things aren't working. It means they are working. And now it's your time to open up. So find ways that you can receive in your life, and see what starts to happen. Notice how uncomfortable you get. Notice in that exchange of giving and receiving, when you give to somebody else, their response, and see if they can be a mirror for you to show you, oh my God, I get weird about that too. And it's in these really simple ways, right? Receiving the presence of a lover, receiving the gaze of a lover, the intimacy of somebody that's a very, very deep connection is going to be kind of the more advanced. But practice in your day-to-day, where the stakes are a little less high, and see how you're able to do that. That would be my invitation. I hope this message helps. I hope there's a way to kind of see this in your own life and integrate it. If you have questions, let me know. But I'm sending you a lot of love. I'll see you again soon.